Hello.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Hi. Welcome to what do you call this? Popcal and Tonic Teachings guest speaker series. Today we have two invited guests here. Which is maybe you guys can introduce yourself first. On my left. This is left. On my left.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm Sebastian. I'm the CEO of Tonic Teaching. Already came here for another talk. It was 2 weeks ago, I think. Well, I'm a teacher at several universities. I'm an entrepreneur. I have launched 7 startups, and the 2 last of them were with Ravia Gonzalez, which is just on the bottom right of the screen. Oh yes, this one, this side.
You can click on me if you want.
Sorry?
You can say you can click on him. To learn more, click on him.
But no guarantee where they'll take you guys, so be careful. That's all I'm saying.
So I will give him the mic so he can explain who he is.
Thank you. On my screen, I'm on the bottom left, but it's okay. So my name is Javier. I'm the CEO of Tonic Teaching. So it's a company that we founded just before the COVID. So we had to go through this fast transition between the old good times, as I call them, and this new normality, which I call the new bad times. Even if we will see that we can get advantage and we can take advantage of any crisis situation. And that's it. I worked in several huge companies, meaning companies with a presence in more than 10 countries all the time, and more than 1,000 or 2,000 or even 10,000 employees. And also, I started my career as an entrepreneur. And now that I found the good founding team, I'm back into the entrepreneurship, and it's what we are teaching as well. So we are professors of IT, finance, business and management, and entrepreneurship in universities in Europe, Asia, Africa, and also South America. So we are trying to get everywhere a little bit.
So now they're here in Malaysia. I mean, virtually anyway. So we're very excited to have both Professor Sebastian and Professor Javier because, it's very interesting how we met. So myself and he met both of these lovely people online, virtually on LinkedIn. So thank you, LinkedIn. And we're very excited to bring them today because they have a very interesting background of just not just being an entrepreneur, but also an academic. So we thought that would be a very interesting dimension to bring to you guys. And with what's been happening with COVID, right, there's a lot of uncertainties. And you called it the new bad times. I've never heard that before. You want to explain further what you mean by the new bad times? I've heard of new normal and things like that.
Yeah, I've heard of
never
new
did.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can actually give some tips about entrepreneurship at the same time. But we created Tonic Teaching not because we did a great market analysis or market research, but just because it was the joint venture of 2 passions, which is teaching and traveling. And so this is why we said, okay, we want to be teaching at different places, and we will travel a lot, and it's going to be amazing, etc. And obviously, I think 3 weeks later that we founded the company, it was the lockdown here in almost everywhere in the world, so we were not able to travel, and this is why we expanded really fast. So that's the good side of it. We're in more than 20 countries now, and with giving conferences or classes. We are teaching at 7 universities on different continents, etc. So this is the good side. The bad side is we like to travel. I mean, for me, traveling is not watching the pictures. It's going to the places, meeting the people, exchanging with them, eating with them. Lots of things that sadly we cannot do anymore. So on a personal side, it's the new bad times. On a business side, it is, and it could be for everyone, the new good times or the easy times for internationalization, etc. So I'm sure we will discuss it in further details, but this is what I meant by the new bad times.
Yeah, I think maybe we can start looking into, in terms of the discussion of today's topic, today we are really looking into the title, which is entitled COVID-19, the Catalyst for entrepreneurship, which is a question, and yeah, which is a question mark. And basically, we want to actually play a little bit of how do I say this? A game, okay, that we call, which is yay or nay. Okay, so we're going to give you a choice of two words, and then from your opinion wise, choose which word you prefer, and then give us a reason why do you prefer that word. Of course, these words are related to our topic today, which is related to entrepreneurship, as well as during current pandemic situation, how is the current situation is like, and what is people's opinion towards it. Okay, so let's start with that, our yay or nay game. Okay, our first word is cut cost versus innovate.
It's looking very serious
Yeah,
now.
so serious. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You ready?
Okay. So let's show. Let's put it up and see.
Tell us then. What
Or you can tell us. What is it?
Sebastian, you can go
Well,
ahead. I will take the other one. I like challenges. I will take the other one. It's not an issue.
So I think, for me, both words can be defended, of course, and both can go. They are not antinomic. On my side, I choose innovate.
Innovate. Okay.
Uh,
And Javier?
I knew that Sebastian was taking innovate, so I took cut cost.
Okay.
Frankly
All
speaking,
right.
I found the paper, so I did it. But yeah, I took cut cost. Yeah.
So one is innovate and one is cut cost. Okay, next question. Before we go into it, let's go to the next question first. How's it? Technology. What is it called? Digital technology versus face to face.
Using digital technology or face to face?
In general, or for teaching, or
Up to how you see it.
okay, I choose anyway. Okay.
Okay, so Javier, what did you choose?
Yeah, I choose anyway. I took face to face.
Okay.
you choose face to face. I went to choose that one too. I think I have an echo or something.
Yeah, me too. I have an echo.
I also have an echo as well.
I think it's like I'm hearing the sound from 30 seconds ago or something.
Can you hear anything now?
No,
Okay.
it's better. No, it's great.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's good.
So Javier is face to face. So Sebastian,
I
you're
guess
choosing
I
face
have
to
to.
face as well. Is it?
I wanted to choose face to face, but then I will choose the digital technology.
I mean, there's no right or wrong. You can choose the same thing. Okay, never mind.
Are you guys teaming up?
Well, I mean, for they're not really antinomic, and both can both have their added value. So we can, for me, both are very important. So
I
let's
do
look
agree,
at the digital tech, so I can argue with Javier a little
Okay,
bit.
so the
I do
next
agree
one,
with Sebastian.
So the next
Right?
one
You
is
have
going to
to
be a bit
choose.
tougher. I think the next one is going to be a bit tougher then, because you guys are being very subjective with your questions, with your answers. So I'm going to make the next one very tough. Ethics versus profit.
What's the first one?
Ethics.
Ethics versus
Ethical.
profits.
Profit.
Yeah, versus profits. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Profits.
I know that this one we probably choose the same.
Yeah, we took profits, right?
Both is profit. Ah, interesting. Okay.
No,
we choose ethics. We both choose ethics.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
The-
so
the-
you couldn't do like you do this and I do that this time.
No, this time we
No.
can't.
No.
No,
So both is
this is
choosing
too, this is maybe a bit too serious, and this is not a question of how you do things. It's why you do things, and this is very, very different.
No.
That one,
Okay.
it's very difficult
That's
to
a
be.
great point, right? Why you do things and not. That's a very good point.
Okay. Last
And
one.
anyway,
Last one.
Yeah, okay, we will have the time to discuss it later on, I guess.
Yes,
Don't worry.
definitely. We're
We'll
going to
give you
cover
the
this
time.
later. Yeah.
Okay.
Last one is play to win or play to survive.
Okay, this one is tough. Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay, so
No,
play to win
guys,
or play to survive.
I just want to bring your attention, right? The comments that are coming in, right, is actually very interesting. How people are also following with you guys and choosing. So some of them are choosing. Some said, "Can we do 40% ethics and the rest profit?"
Yeah. Okay. So play to win or play to survive. What's your answer?
Play to win.
Yeah, play to win. It was also play to win.
Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you for giving us the yay to nay. We can actually look into it now to discuss why do you choose, what do you choose. Shall we do that? So our first question
Yeah.
that we actually ask you is what was it again? Cut costs or innovate? And I think Sebastian, you choose innovate. Why do you choose innovate? What were your thoughts when you choose innovate?
Because a company who stop innovation is just dedicated to die. If you were alone on your market and alone on the planet and nobody could come in your market, or maybe for some legal reason, well, maybe you could at least barely survive by not innovating. But for a company, you have to innovate. You have to change. You have to learn, and this just come from innovation. It doesn't mean that cost is not important, but innovation is for me definitely more important and will allow you to survive on the long term.
Okay, in what form of ways are you looking in terms of innovation-wise basis actually?
Sorry?
In what form of ways are you actually focusing on when it comes to innovation-wise basis? Because you're talking from a very entrepreneurial point of view, right? You say for businesses to survive, they have to constantly innovate. So what area are you actually looking at in terms of innovating-wise?
Well, for a company in general, it will depend on what subjects they are in. The innovation is not the same for a bank than for an online teaching company, such as we are. So for us at the moment, we are looking for innovation in ways of teaching. The COVID brought a very new situation, which everybody is learning online now because there is no choice. Everybody is at home and nobody can go to the classroom anymore. So as an online teaching company, we have to find innovative way to teach online. We have found several ways to do it. We're using quite a lot of new technologies like WooClap, like Miro, and so on. And we have to be innovative in the way of using them to bring the knowledge to our students and to keep them in the course. Because when they're home, there are a lot of distractions, there are a lot of stuff they can see, they can use, they can get distracted. And we have to keep them inside the classroom, at least keep their mind in the classroom, even if the classroom doesn't exist in real life.
Yes. All right. That's okay. So that's why you put in terms of looking into the innovation wise. I understand that in terms of current pandemic situation, a lot of people needs to start thinking of other ways to how to flourish their business fields, because some requires more physical ground, and at such time when they are not able to move physically, the creativity part of them needs to know how to actually continue to survive in terms of their business-wise space.
This is not only true for a startup like us. Like, do you know Kodak?
Yep.
It's a company who just stopped existing because it's failed to innovate. They were on the market. They were the first one on the market, and they saw that they would be the leader for many years. And
for the rest of our lives, it seemed like they would be there forever, right?
Yes, Yes, and then they forget to innovate, and then when the innovation comes in by another company or by many other company, well, they just fell down and went bankrupt, and that's it.
Doesn't really matter, right? COVID-19, not COVID-19, innovation is crucial. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, always.
Okay. All right. Javier, you choose cut costs. Why?
Yeah, maybe just a last word on innovation. The problem is the use that we do with the words. You know, sometimes you are using words, and for people, innovation is creating the new the new rocket to go to the moon, or creating this new crazy laptop. More than innovation, we should speak about evolution and evolving all the time, and making your business and your business model evolving all the time. Innovating is, for instance, putting a delivery at your pizzeria, you know, at your pizza restaurant or your pastas restaurant. So this is already innovation. If you do something that you were not doing before, this is innovation. And if it works, it's what we call evolution. So this is definitely something something interesting. You can innovate in the cost cutting, for instance. I used to manage a lot of projects in big corporations about cost cutting. And so, for instance, we were innovating in terms of communication to avoid the waste of paper and the use of multi-copies at the firm. So we were innovating in the communication. We're also innovating in the way people are doing the presentations, for instance. Also evolving or innovating in terms of corporate rules, etc. So that's why the use of innovation. Oh yeah, it's an innovator because he created this new phone or this new watch or this new thing. But it's more. We should talk about evolution and making your business evolve. And that's or being creative as well could be a good expression. Maybe more close to reality. You know, like if you can be creative with really few resources. And by the way, people believe that to be creative, you need to have a large choice, and the larger choice possible. Actually, it's the other way around. The more constraints you have, the more creative you are. And you have people who do that. There is a really famous pianist who put like big rings on his fingers just to feel a handicap. And like this, he will be more creative. And lots of people do that. Or they go to really remote places and they have nothing. And like this, they are more creative. So constraints equal creativity. That's why crisis equals creativity. And by creativity, we mean what people call innovation, just to be fancy, you know?
Yeah, I think we have some of our viewers here who actually agree as well about the part where you say, you know, you can be innovative when it comes to cutting costs as well, like what you say. And I think we have here Michelle who actually say that it's important to have both and a balance of it. What do you think about that? It's like you need to have a balance. Do we need to have a balance for both innovation as well as cutting costs?
It's not necessarily an opposition, so you don't necessarily need a balance. You just need to do both, but it's not a question of balance. Like, for example, when we started giving courses online, we brought innovation, but at the same time, it was a cost saving for us because we didn't have to travel anymore to pay for the hostel, to pay for the traveling and for food and so on.
The daily expenses.
Innovating was in itself a cost saving for us.
That's what one of our viewers said, Nasiha said, right? She said, you can innovate by cutting. I mean, that's a form of innovation as well, right? Which is actually interesting, right? How we can use those play of words or understand concepts intertwine, and it can actually bring a very interesting view of things, like what Javier was saying about cutting costs as well, right? And what you guys have done, actually, it's very interesting how if our perspective kind of changes, the words also change along with us. And I think COVID-19, what Javier was saying about how COVID-19 has put people in a sense in a box, like you can't leave your homes for some countries, some still can't leave their homes. So when you're put in that restraint, you might come up with new ideas. You know, you're put in that restraint, you might even create better things. So definitely a very interesting way of looking at things.
Yeah, I think we have as well.
It's also just maybe last remark on that, but it's also because you're asking yourself questions that you were never asking yourself before. And this is what we talk about in a presentation, which is called Entrepreneurship during crisis times, or Entrepreneurship during COVID-19, that we gave, I think, almost everywhere now. And who was asking himself, okay, how will I put my PIN code to pay with my card without touching the terminal? I never asked myself this question before. I'm asking it to myself every day now. Wearing gloves is the answer to it, or the easy answer to it, you know. But
I think I also have heard before there are now new products. I think that yesterday I just had a discussion with Cheryl as well. They came out new products where literally they came out with a product which is like a USB drive or maybe like a MP3 player kind of size. So it's basically just a hook. So you just buy a hook, and the choice of the reason why you buy the hook is so that when you press elevator or when you want to open doors, you don't even need to use your hand to open it because you worry about the touches of the surfaces that may get the virus infected.
Yeah.
So what they do is use the hook to just press on things and carry plastic bags around and stuff like that. So this is a new kind of innovation of product that they are actually selling out right now, so that you are cutting down on the limitation of doing any touches on physical surfaces areas as well. So that could be that's what happens to the new type of entrepreneurs right now, coming up with new ideas on how to in your constrained situation, the innovation ideas of coming out with new products to sell.
Yeah. Also, the attitude of the people changed during the crisis times. Like, I mean, as you mentioned, Cheryl, we met. We didn't meet yet, but we get to know each other. We get to know each other. We get to know each other on LinkedIn. LinkedIn wasn't different before. I mean, people were like that attentive and that keen to use LinkedIn. No. So the attitude of the people changed. I'm not that convinced that it will last long, and once this crisis will be over, people will remember the good things that they learned. That never happened. People say, yeah, the world will change. Yeah, I'm waiting to see that. The world was about to change also in 2008 after the financial crisis. Yeah, those bankers, they will never do those crazy things again. In 2009, it was already the same thing than before.
Easily, I think.
Yeah. Okay. They created new laws, but fiscal paradises and tax paradises created new laws as well. So nothing changed. But what we need to keep in mind is what we have learned, and take this in your toolkit, in your toolbox, and use it in the future.
Very interesting perspective. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, next one is about the face-to-face and digital technology. So I believe Sebastian says digital technology and Javier says face-to-face. So why, Javier? Why face-to-face?
Why not? Actually, my answer was it depends. It depends, okay. And if we stick to education, it really depends. What's the point of imagine there is a really interesting program which is unique and at Inter University in Malaysia, and this is really the thing I'm interested in. But I'm in Belgium, and so with this new normality or new situation, I could just register online and follow the classes online. Okay, but is it interesting to do like group activities, group works, presentations online? It's a little bit boring, no? But does it make sense to follow all the theoretical classes on campus? Not at all. I mean, it's a waste of time. I should travel a lot, and it would not be possible. And I couldn't even register to the program because it will be too expensive, not really handy, etc. So we have a really good opportunity to make education more available for everybody. And if we are fair and if we are ethic, and this is the next question, it should be at a lower price, and not what Harvard University did with an online program, charging the same than what they are charging on campus. So what I mean here, it depends for which activity, what kind of format for education. If we stick to education, obviously, if we speak about having a drink with friends, I have friends who are doing that now. They have drinks on Skype. I do not understand this new you know, those new bad times I was talking about. This is something bad. Yeah, they don't drink water, by the way. But you know, and for instance, meeting
But
you
you
guys
have
would be good to meet
applications
you.
like this.
To meet you.
Isn't
Yeah.
it? There's applications like this where you can. I think it's called. I think yesterday I was telling Cheryl. I think it's called what, some watch party or something like that. Or
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's an application where basically people just come out in a virtual space to have party. So everyone, get into
I
their
show
partners.
I show to Sebastian also a virtual marathon. You know, a virtual running.
Yeah.
So
You
you
know,
run?
if this is what we call innovation, I prefer to be creative than an innovator. You know, like so sometimes people should stop the crap as well. You know, like come on.
You saw Sebastian how he's giving more points, so it's like, you know, Sebastian, you have to watch out now.
Yeah, but
from the last point.
Not everything can be done virtually. You know, like some things will remain face to face, and hopefully, if not, people will never leave their homes. You know, like it will be really, really sad. But that's it. Face to face or virtual depends on for which activity. Actually, is my answer.
Sebastian, digital technology.
Jing.
Well, this is very. Again, this is not an opposition. For me, face-to-face is very important. As you maybe know, I'm an agilist. I'm very convinced by the Agile Manifesto and all the framework that comes out of it. And one of the rules is the best way to communicate information is by a face-to-face conversation. But the digital technologies allowed us to go much further than that. Today, when we have a meeting, we can, for example, have PowerPoints or whatever tools, digital tools that help us to make it better and to make it more informative, to communicate more informations. We have some digital tools that allows us to ask questions to the audience. Like, for example, at the moment, we are using a digital technology to share information and with the whole world. We are in Belgium. I don't know where the people in the chats come from, but does it really matter? All of that's because of the digital technologies. But it would still be a real pleasure to meet all of them and all of you face to face. Definitely.
Yeah, they could type where they are coming from.
That would be great, guys. If y'all can share which place you are coming from, and if you guys are in Malaysia, then you can share with us which state you're coming from, and if you're from overseas, then share with us your country. That would be great. You see, you guys scared away.
What's the time, right? Yeah, I think Javier got scared a bit because after you talk about digital technology, he decided to.
But in the context of a business, right? The context of a business, of course, you have that human touch, right? Where he talk about the physical. I mean, I don't want to have drinks with you socially, but what about business? Running a business, being an entrepreneur, right? Do you think the face to face is still very important compared to the digital? If you had to choose, of course, we all like to kind of get the middle ground where you want to have a bit of this or a bit of that. But if you had to choose,
if I had to choose face to face. Definitely.
Face.
You know,
so even on business aspects wise as well, face to face is better, is it?
Just for at least for the body language. You communicate as much with your body as with your voice. So this is very important to see people face to face, and we also need to keep people smiling. We need to keep people motivated, and this goes much better with a face-to-face meeting. During the crisis, when we had success to celebrate with Javier, we just went to the park. We respected the social distance, but we still shared a beer to celebrate. We are from Belgium. We're doing beers.
Malaysians too.
Oh, great!
we know that.
But some of us do.
The bar is not open yet, actually.
Yeah, Malaysia, no, not yet. But you see, guys, doesn't it also in a way face-to-face limit the opportunities because of accessibilities as well? Because we're looking at a point where you see a lot of business during COVID came up during that time, right? And now with the e-commerce platforms and stuff like that, do you think that some businesses, if it was face-to-face, like, I mean, I can't afford to come to Belgium for sure. Like, so if we wanted to discuss a business opportunity face-to-face, that would not be possible for me anyway, in terms of money, in terms of like we talk about traveling, accommodation, those kind of things. So do you think digital, then in a sense, without the digital, it limits your opportunities as well?
The digital reduce the limits. That's definitely true, and it allows you to go for internationalizations from your little office in your country, or even from your bedroom, if you want. I'm currently in my bedroom, to be honest. So this is so yes, you're definitely right.
Yeah, and I think in terms of entrepreneurship wise as well, right, opportunity will be much more wider if you do a collaboration, and sometimes collaborating means it requires a little bit of a digital technology in order for us to go across, in a global scale, to collaborate with people from other countries to do something, to do a big project, to do a business, to do partnership, and also it works as well for digital technology to help them as well in that.
I like the next one. I can't wait to hear what they say.
Yeah, ethics versus profits. I thought that they probably will do that. You take this, I'll take
one,
that.
I take one, and then let's play around with it and play with
Yeah.
semantics. Academics are very smart that way, but they
Yeah,
couldn't, I
yeah.
think, this time.
But they decided to choose ethics instead. Why? Is it because that now that you're invited here as a guest speaker, you feel that the most ethical thing to answer is to say ethics?
No, this is something. Well, in a matter of fashion, you go with the flow. In a matter of values, stay hard like a rock. This is something very important. Never,
That's a good point.
never fail yourself. Otherwise, you won't be able to look at yourself in the eyes if you don't. You do a business for living, or you live for your business, whatever. But at the end, it's still you. Whatever decision you take, this is very important to stay in your values.
Yeah.
Have you anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, profits will follow ethics, and not the other way around anyway. If you want to last long, I mean, I think we all know, crazy crooks who still in business, no? But do you want to be like that? I mean, I don't, but usually profits will follow ethics, and depends on which industry you are, but especially into education, that you are you are providing a future to the students as well. So you have to be straightforward, and we could speak about a lot of things like the validity of the diplomas. I mean, the recognition of the diplomas, the price you are charging for your education, the quality of the courses you are creating, etc. So it really breaks my heart when I see some people enroll in programs who are worth nothing, and who are paying like crazy tuitions. This is really a heartbreaking thing. I think it's also our duty to us who try to be I think honest professors to kick those people out of the business forever. And especially when you see former students in that kind of situations, etc. So this is also one of the bad things of this situation, is like today everybody is a teacher, today everybody is a professor, today everybody is giving a talk about how to succeed in your life and getting rich, and the guy is 18, which I respect, but how to create an empire into real estate, and the guy is renting a house, or an apartment. So try to talk always about what you know. I would never give classes about entrepreneurship if I never built a company or a business, and I would never give a course about finance if I never worked into the finance industry. That's why sometimes they ask us to give classes, and we are like, okay, this is not for us. We have no clue about it. this is also ethics, like keep talking. And I mean, especially if you don't want to be at the best silly and at the worst a crook about what you know. I mean, I'm sure you know people like this, and people in the chat in the audience and who are listening to us say, okay, yeah, but I know a guy. It's a real crook and he's in the business since ages. Yeah, okay, good for him. But
I mean, this is something that I think I just had a discussion with my students as well just now, because during pandemic times we do see that there's a lot of self own sellers, individual sellers who are selling what is currently necessity or need right now during this time, which is usually masks and sanitizers. And there are so many people who are selling it and charging like really crazy 2 times, 5 times, 10 times of the pricing of the market of these products, because they know that people really need it right now. So they are selling it in a crazy prices, and of course neglecting this thing called the ethics, where they say that, is the product really good? Is the product really going to help you to curb this pandemic? Is the sanitizers really sanitizers, or they are actually something mixed with something, and you generate a huge bulk of it, and then you're selling it in crazy prices about it. I just had, I think, a discussion with my students the other day. One of my students said during our lockdown, our MCO time, we had a lockdown for about 2 months plus, and at that time, because everyone panics and they say that, oh, we need to get masks and sanitizers because we don't have it at home. So the mom literally spent 4,000 ringgit Malaysia just to buy masks.
Yeah, I think there is something you should never play with, is people's life.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, ethics can change from culture to culture, and we around the world we don't have the same values, and that's fine. But there is something that is, well, cross-cultural, which is human life, and you should never play with that.
Is there such situation happening in Belgium as well?
Yes and no. Since we are in a worldwide market, of course we can find online.
Is there like a lack of masks selling in shops, or I don't know, what are the items that's crucial you need right now?
We used to have a lack of masks, but today it's fine. We have enough. Same for the alcoholic solutions for the hands. Now we are fine on that side.
I think when it comes to things like masks and all this and how they were doing that, it came to a point where, especially when it first begun, right? So it was like, wow, these people need masks to buy and hoard. And then these are not people who are actually selling it, right? But they're not operating ethically, and they took it and they kept it. And then we have overnight entrepreneurs that suddenly became entrepreneurs on various e-commerce platforms like Lazada in Malaysia, right? And they started selling these items, and you said they didn't have those ethical basics. It came to a point where the government of Malaysia actually had put it. I mean, you need to have, like you said, certain level of ethics, right? Then you have the law, but law and ethics are not the same thing, right? Ethics is what you do and no one is watching, right? So since no one was watching them at that point, they did as they liked, and then the law came in. So I think they caught like a business owner who was hoarding masks. He had like boxes and boxes of masks in his warehouse. They found a woman, and they started like charging penalties towards people who were selling it at a higher price. Because imagine, people are suffering, people have lost jobs, people have no money, and now for me to breathe and go back home feeling safe, I have to worry about something that normally would cost less than a ringgit or a ringgit plus, and now it's like double or triple. At one point, I think a box of masks was going for about 150, 100 plus, and some were excessively adding the prices, and that's when the government came in. But it's sad that a government has to come in and put a law down for you to know ethically this is what you should do as a business owner during this COVID situation.
This is a very.
I think it's.
Oh yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. But we have a really interesting question from. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Puvaneswari. I would love to answer it afterwards, but go ahead, Seb. Sorry.
No, okay. Oh, well, I was just about to say that Well,
Yeah.
ethics and laws are linked in a different way depending on the countries. On some countries, laws are very permissive, and it's up to people to decide if they go for ethical or not. Talking in Europe, it's the case, for example, in the UK. And the opposite, in Belgium or France, for example, the law and ethics are very linked. So, for example, in Belgium, for years, I have no idea when this law comes out, but we have a fixed price for bread. You cannot sell bread above a certain amount of price. I think it's the same for the mask, and this is, but this depends on the culture of the country. The link between law and ethic. This is yes. But sorry, go ahead, Javier.
No. I'm sorry. You know that I'm speaking a lot. In terms of ethics, it's more difference between ethics and moral. You know, like the moral is what you believe, what impedes you to do some things, and sometimes ethics allow it. Like, for instance, is it ethic to sell weapons to some countries? It could be. Yeah. If you have a license, you can do it.
Then
my moral, my moral allow me to do it. In my case, no. Same for the courses. Is it ethic to sell shitty quality courses? Maybe there is no law, and so yeah, it's ethic. The ethic is what your working environment allow you to do, and moral is what.
Yeah.
And the moral is what inside of you, your background, your education, your personal beliefs allow you or impede you to do. This is the main difference. In terms of the example that is mentioned, and I will not try to say your name again. I'm really sorry. Unless I can call you Puva, and like this, it's easier. But the case of Wells Fargo, I'm teaching this in at the business schools I'm teaching at. So I always give this example of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is not that it's an unethical company. They have codes of ethics, etc. The big problem of Wells Fargo, and I guess you speak about the fine that they received of $100 million recently. And the issue here was the incentives that they put for their employees. So the incentive was really easy. We want to have more bank accounts because banks live with the money of the others. All the banks are almost in bankruptcy. You have to know that. So if you deposit money, they can use this money to invest, etc. So they say, okay, we need more deposits. How we increase the number of deposits? It's easy. We will create an incentive for our employees at the offices, at the branches, etc. And the more bank accounts they create, the more bonuses they get. So imagine it's $10 per bank account. Okay, you start opening bank accounts, and every time that a client or a customer is crossing the door, you say, hey, we have a crazy nice bank account. You should open one for your kid. You should open one for your grandmother. You should open one for. The issue is it can take time if the customers have to enter in the branch. What do? Oh, this guy is dead. Well, it's okay. Let's create a bank account for him. Oh, this girl is from Mexico. She doesn't even speak. She speaks Spanish. She doesn't even understand proper English. Is what they say, or what they said in the interviews and in the records of the investigation, etc. So this lady had 25 bank accounts. It's not only opening the bank accounts, you need to put money in that. So you are moving the money of the customers from one bank account to another. And so the issue is incentives. Bad incentives can destroy really good ethics, actually. But the example is really good.
Yeah, I think that's a question here by City. They say that she's actually also teaching. She's teaching business ethics previously, and she had a student who asked a good question. But can you really teach ethics? And if a student scored A for the subject, does it mean he or she is highly ethical? Interesting. So, Javier, what do you think about this? Can you teach ethics?
Well, I'm not teaching ethics, but actually, saying that you are teaching ethics doesn't mean anything. I mean, ethics in what? In the finance industry. I mean, for instance, the CFA, which is the chartered
business ethics here, I think.
Okay. What is business ethics? In which industry? You know,
Yeah.
business ethics in the pharmaceutical industry could shock a lot of people.
Yeah.
In the weapons industry could shock a lot of people as well.
Yeah, true.
In
Even
the
Yeah, very different.
in the makeup industry, in the luxe industry, do you know how you create some jackets and some trousers? You would be shocked. Let's see what they do in China with rabbits. Go and see what they do in China with rabbits. It's ethical. Is it moral? This is the difference. You know, I don't want to be too philosophical here, but ethics will depend on which topic. Ethics in finance means something, but definitely you can teach it. And okay, you got an A to your exam. Does it mean that you got an A to your exam in driving, in the theoretical part? Doesn't mean that you can drive. You should first go and drive, and you will demonstrate if you deserve your A. You know, like the theory it's cool, but then it's how you apply it. Definitely.
It's like what? Yeah, I agree. Application is important, right? You can say you're ethical, but what you do tells us whether you are or not, right? Like what Sebastian said earlier.
Yeah, and that's one of the limits of the education industry in general across the world, is that at the end, a diploma only proves one thing: you can pass exams. Don't mean you can do anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, I used to believe in this. I don't know whether I don't know whether it makes sense or not, because we have this subject when we're in high school, secondary school, high school. We have this final exam which is called SPM, and moral studies is one of the requirement for non-Muslims to take that subject. And a lot of times, usually people's understanding is if you score A in moral means you're a very highly moral person. That's their impression, you know. But my point of view is actually, if you score very high in moral studies, actually it means that you are not very highly moral person, because it means you're just very good in lying.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and also I think for moral and ethics, when you are trying to teach that, it's more about teaching what question should you ask yourself and when, more than how to answer those questions. And this is still very important to make people aware of the question they should ask themselves, because you probably won't change how people are inside themselves, but at least you can show them, you can let them understand how they are. We take a lot of things for granted, a lot of things for known. Maybe you shouldn't put them, ask yourself a question about them. And this is where such courses had an added value, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
When we talk about play to win or play to survive, and I think both of you actually say play to win. So what do you see about playing to win then?
You want to go, Javier?
Yeah, I can go. But here again, you need the context. I mean, teaching a business strategy, it's all about the context. And we spoke about the situation, the crisis, and the context. Actually, it's a trigger for a lot of things. But in life in general, I mean, I always play to win, like everything. I mean, we can play any game. We can play here a little game between Sebastian and I about answering questions. I will play to win. And this is also actually a way of respect. I mean, respect for the audience, for you, for the guy in front of you as well. I mean, when you see boxers, like really huge guys punching each other, giving their best, and then at the end they take each other in their arms and they're like, oh yeah, thank you, man. And they just fought like crazy people, and they broke their faces, their legs. It's because it's a way of respect as well. Did you already play against someone who never tried to win? It's the worst thing. I mean, it's terrible, right? When you play to people who don't care at all, you don't even want to play. So it really brings. I mean, it will be lowering the level of any activity. This is the case about sport. This is the case about any contest. This is the case about, and it's also bad for relationships if you don't play to win. Then the play to survive. Obviously, and it's worth to say it as well, we speak from a really comfortable position as well. You know, like we have a house, we have money. I mean, we are not rich, but we have money. We had the chance to study what we wanted. I had the chance to travel a lot. I had the chance to never think about eating or feeding myself to have enough energy or that kind of thing. So obviously, if the first thing that you are thinking in the morning is not which jacket will I wear to go to the university to teach, but it's how will I manage to feed my kids, probably is not the same answer, you know. So again, it's in terms of perspectives and in terms of situations. But if the situation was different, maybe living in Venezuela or, you know, countries where the situation is sadly really tough, my answer would probably be play to survive. You know? So.
True. Sebastian, anything to add?
Yeah, as a formal paintball professional player, paintball player. Sorry.
Did you say
Player. Ping pong?
Yes, I used to play paintball. You can find the videos on YouTube if you want.
Paintball.
Paintball.
Yeah, not ping pong. We are not
Paintball.
Chinese here. Chinese beat everybody in ping pong, okay?
No.
We don't do that.
I thought that's why he was teaching in China. I thought he was there to learn ping pong and teaching at
No,
the
no.
sideways. You know, I didn't know paintball or paintball.
Paintball, yes.
Okay.
So definitely, I play to win. Even at that time, when we get hit, it would hurt, but I wasn't playing to don't get hit. I was playing to actually win the game, and so this is well. Even when you play to survive, and when there is your your surviving things that you need to survive in the balance.
The instincts to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always play to win. It's not a question about win against the other. You can win with the other. If we were doing this talk physically, I would have made you done a little exercise. Next time I will do it. When we meet.
Do exercise? What?
Yeah,
doing exercise? Okay, I have to skip this one then.
No, it's just a very simple exercise to show you how everybody can win together. But next time when I will come to your country, we will do it.
But right, what happens if, I mean, here we're looking at it from a personal point of view, right? What happens if we're talking about playing to win as an entrepreneur? Because a lot of people, when we talk about the cutting cost innovation and all this, is because a lot of people were playing to survive, especially when it first hit, right? There are a lot of businesses, especially in Malaysia, at the beginning, they were like, let's wait, let's hold on, let's just survive, keep whatever you have. Why they were not innovating is because they were trying to survive. Like, for example, the government said, we're going to lock down for 2 weeks. No one expected the lockdown is going to go way longer than that. And it did, right? So what do you say to entrepreneurs out there that are actually playing even till now, right? Hoping that things get better. So they are playing just to survive. Like, okay, let's survive for another 2 weeks. Let's survive for another 2 weeks instead of playing to win. I mean, what do you guys say to that?
Maybe you are playing to survive, but in your mind you should still playing to win, because playing to survive, at least as a mindset, brings you to a very protective strategy which may kill innovation. We come back to the previous questions, and you may risk to kill innovation in a bad way. It may put you in a stressed mindset, and getting stressed usually leads you to wrong decisions. And maybe that's true. Maybe you are playing to survive, and that's not your choice at the end. But as a mindset, I recommend to still play to win.
Yeah, but sometimes surviving is winning. Like as I said, it depends a lot on the situation. And I'm seeing here on the comments that people are talking about losing, but the question is, play to win or play to survive? And I do agree with the sentence that Kim put in the chat, which is sometimes you win, sometimes you never lose. You win, or either you win, either you learn. This is Nelson Mandela, by the way. So obviously, quoting Nelson Mandela is always a good idea. But definitely, when we manage projects, and Sebastian can speak about it, like doing 75 hours in a row, but Agile is about that. I mean, is the fail fast and so fail cheap. So and this is another comment that was in the chat. I'm really attentive to the chat, as you can see. It's that you need to test things. I mean, nobody knows, like, okay, now be careful because in 2 months, there is a lockdown because of COVID-19, which is a new disease coming from China. Nobody knew that, okay? So obviously you need to test new things, you need to adapt, and adapt, being creative, it's other words or synonyms for innovation. So fully agree on the fact that failing is not an issue, but getting to know that you are failing is something that you have to do, and obviously keeping and applying the lessons learned for the future. Yeah.
So that was great. Thank you so much for participating. I mean, the whole idea of us doing this, right, is to kind of get a sense. We talk about values and principles, right? And we think bringing in speakers in, I mean, this is done a la or me series style, even though this is a forecasting for this time around. But usually what we do, why we do this is so that we bring your values, your principles. So by the time we're done with this, right, everyone kind of knows you, have a sense of who you are. And I think that's a great way to kind of converse with each other. So moving to I want to share this quote with you guys, and I want you to tell me what you think about it, right? So in the words of Stanford professor, economist, right, Paul Romer, he says a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. What do you guys think? A crisis is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah. This is
I heard it before, Sebastian, so if you want to go ahead.
Okay.
Are you giving him time, is it?
This sentence is true at so many levels. So yeah, this sentence is true at so many levels, definitely. Crisis means that there will be change, a lot of change, huge changes. And when you have changes, you have new opportunities. You also have some businesses that will be impacted, of course. But you have to stay aware during crisis to what has changed and what is new and what makes you able to make new money, new profits, to bring new value. And definitely agree with this sentence.
Javier, what do you think about this?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think right at the beginning, crisis equal opportunities, and could extend it. I mean, we could make a thesis on what we are talking here. For instance, in finance, you can buy stocks from companies at a lower price, companies who will probably never fail. This is misleading when I say that, but just to make it understandable. So, for instance, you can buy Coca-Cola shares like 40% less than their actual price or real price. You can buy houses. In Spain, during the crisis in 2008, some people came from Brazil, South America, USA, other countries, and they bought like 5-6 houses in one day, which is impossible when it's not a crisis. In terms of creation of new businesses, creation of new ways of consuming, new ways of delivering value to the customers. So things are evolving, and if you are evolving fast enough, you can embrace those changes and make value and create value from it. So definitely, what Paul Romer says, it's true. It's always difficult to go against a professor at Stanford anyway. But besides of this joke, definitely. But again, it depends the features that you have, the situation you are in. If you are really impacted by the crisis, you just lost your job, it's difficult to see the opportunities. Still you have opportunities there. Maybe it's a good opportunity to move to another industry. But if you are at this moment with knowledge, with cash, with the good founding team, with a lot of good parameters around you, it's probably one of the best moments of your life. Yeah.
That's a good point, right? Because if you look at history, crisis in history, right? In every crisis that happened, whether it's been economical crises over the years, right? Businesses have come about, right? WhatsApp came up during a crisis as well. Airbnb, all these businesses actually came up during that time. Of course, now we forget because that time has passed and now we've moved on. So we don't think of that time where they struggled to actually come up or that they came up during that time. And in Malaysia, we do have some businesses that are thriving during this time. There's one example, which is My Grocer.
Food delivery food delivery
food
services.
delivery, groceries.
Yeah.
I mean, they launched, right, My Grocer during the COVID situation. Like I think the first or second week of COVID they launched, but their business problem, right, is not no business. They have supply. They have issues of uh, catering to the demands. That's where they're at. So that means they're doing very well. So of course they are companies that are actually thriving during this time. But what kind of disruptions do you think, right? What are two major disruptions you would say that challenge businesses during this pandemic, especially when you're talking not about the big businesses, but we're talking about entrepreneurs, maybe SMEs, small, medium enterprises, those who are, or maybe those who had just started off, maybe. How do you think, what are the disruptions, right? What are two major disruptions you feel that challenge the business?
Javier, you want to start? Oh.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I can go ahead with that. Actually, it's what we discussed just before about integrating and taking into account the situation and what we call in strategy the environment of where the company is evolving. So what we will need to integrate in the future is this possibility of lockdowns, possibility of pandemics, possibility of because definitely it will not be the last one because of the way we are living as well.
Yeah.
It's not some people in China. No. Okay, it's the way we are living that is creating this situation, and the way we are consuming our food and everything. So we have less and less places for the animals, and so they are closer than us, and this is why we are getting into this. There are more than 6 million diseases that the animals have that could be transferred to the human being. So this is something that we have to know, and we are speaking about one. So what are the odds of another pandemic? So we need to integrate those things that we had no idea like 4 months ago, and now we are all virologists or that kind of stuff. But definitely that's something that we need to integrate. Like who was thinking before about being able to buy online like 20 years ago? No one. I mean, 20 maybe yes, but 40 years ago. And now everybody's integrating this. Oh, I need a website. I need I need the possibility or the plugin to buy online, etc. So this is something that we will have to integrate when we are building the business models. I think this is something that we need to keep in mind. And Sebastian and I, we're always thinking about entrepreneurship and okay, let's do another business and let's launch another project and let's do this. And I always wanted, for instance, to have a restaurant, because I go a lot to the restaurants, so maybe having one will be cheaper than going to restaurants. But is it the time now? Definitely not. I mean, everything that needs people to move to your place and stay there, I would wait a little bit. I would wait a little bit to launch this.
Maybe you can
it's not
start
a good time
with
to launch
just
a bar.
online business. You can start an online business in restaurants where you just deliver food to your neighbors, and maybe you get a good business out of it.
Yeah, or a virtual reality restaurant as well could be cool.
Virtual food.
You mean?
No, but with real food. Come on, let's not be the.
Like
this is a question of ethics. This is a question of ethics,
steak, and then I'm sitting here and praising how great the steak tastes like. That's virtual restaurants in idea.
I mean, if you think of technology, right? Like with this whole 3D printing, right? Who knows in the future? If you watch, I'm sorry, I watch a lot of cartoons, right, from those days. The Jetsons, and then later on you
from a daughter, basically.
No, I mean from my childhood. But can you imagine if you have that kind of system where they can actually print food, you can eat it, just press a button, and you have like this food cup. I mean, I don't know. Maybe in the future.
That one is in existence already. That machine is in existence already.
That is very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have other things that are strange with restaurants. You have restaurants where you go, you only smell the food, and then you leave. Huh? So definitely the one that you are cooking at your place. Come on, IKEA. You buy pieces of a furniture, and then you build it at home and you pay for it. McDonald's. You need to take the things off your table yourself, to put them in the garbage. The banks. You are paying the banks, you're paying fees, and you do everything. You do your own payments, you manage your accounts, you do everything. So the banks transition.
That actually doesn't make sense. You give them your money, and you pay them. My gosh.
Yeah, maybe speaking about banks in Malaysia isn't a good example, but you know what I mean, no? You know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, some investment funds. I know that some investment funds in Malaysia were a little bit controversial, but let's stick to positive things. But definitely, it's because the way people are consuming is evolving at the end of the day. All the examples that we mentioned is the way that you are ordering is evolving. Netflix, who knows Netflix? Netflix, and then I give you the stand, Sebastian, because I can do like 75 hours on this one. But Netflix, when was it founded? When did they start the business? Netflix.
Not too sure.
A couple of years
I mean,
ago.
when it comes to Malaysia, it's a different timing compared to when it started already.
When we started Tonic Teaching is when we started it. It's not when we started in Malaysia.
It was founded in 1997.
Yeah,
So
because you just check it out. You just check it
Yes.
out on Google. But intuitively, what would you say? 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
Existingly, Malaysia is about 5 years ago.
Yeah, because it's when you got to know it. But actually, what was Netflix doing at the beginning? It was sending DVDs or Blu-rays by mail. So you were ordering it with a paper and with a nice letter and with a post stamp, and then you were receiving the DVD at home and resending it once you saw it. The business model is the same. You are ordering a movie
mail order,
from home,
movie.
but the technology was top up on this business model, and now you're ordering really faster with a remote and or with your cell phone,
subscription basis. Yeah.
So the way of consuming is evolving because the technology is changing as well, and the means are changing as well, are evolving. I don't know if changing is not the word, but evolving at least. So Netflix is a really good example of it.
Yeah, maybe I can ask this lah. Can you compare what is the differences between pre-pandemic entrepreneurial areas that they are trending at that time, and compare it with currently the present pandemic entrepreneurial key areas that they are trending? What's the difference? What's the difference in their focus areas in terms of business-wise basis?
Sebastian, if you want to take this
one. Sorry, I didn't. I had a cut in my connection. I didn't get the full question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so the differences between pre-pandemic entrepreneurial business areas that they are trending at that time, compare it with the present pandemic entrepreneurial business areas that they are looking at. What's the differences? What are the key areas that they have changed in terms of what is trending right now? What is the kind of delivery of business methods or wise basis? What's the differences?
There are a lot, but one of them is probably, we already talked about it, the no face-to-face meeting with anybody. It can be your co-founder, it can be your investors, it can be your clients, and all of those relationships that used to be face-to-face are now online, and this definitely needs some adaptation from the technology. It needs some innovation to come to help us with that. So you can definitely, it's at the same time an issue for new entrepreneurs, and at the same time opportunities for new entrepreneurs to bring some value over there.
So you would say that one of it is the digital part of it, aspects that everything that
yes,
is online basis more focused on.
Yes, we need the tools to do it properly, definitely. So, but on the opposite, we don't need offices anymore.
Yeah, true.
Which will probably lead us to a huge crisis too, because then it's not only entrepreneur that doesn't need offices. A lot of companies doesn't need as much offices as they used to, because now we know that the home working is working perfectly fine, that people can work from home without being less productive. So in the upcoming months, probably the big companies will allow people to work more from home, to be able to rent less space of offices. So it means that we will probably have a worldwide office space crisis. The prices will probably get down
So I think
very fast.
because there is one time where I'm hearing echo actually. Okay. I remember there's one time that what work office space is a business, and it was like everyone is like doing that. That this is pre-pandemic time.
This is pre-pandemic,
So,
yes.
yeah. So which means chances is that that's not going to be working anymore. Is it?
Probably less. Probably yes. You'll
Less.
probably have a big crisis. You will have some big actors that will go bankrupt, be replaced by other ones that have proper solution for the current situation. And in 1 or 2 years, or maybe more, we will see a new established market.
Okay.
Okay. We have a
Javier,
question,
anything
right?
to add? Yeah, I think we have a question here by all regarding a crisis is an opportunity. How business structure that concentrate on investment, expanding, etc., but once hit by crisis, it shows that they are the one most vulnerable than resistance. Why?
So I think she's talking about business model, right? Their business model, business structure, they concentrate on investment.
Yeah. Well, actually, mainly you have two types of businesses: the ones that are capital intensive and the ones that are work intensive. For instance, a restaurant is capital intensive. You need to put a lot of money in that. And actually, a restaurant is not a good example because it's capital intensive and work intensive. For instance, what we do, if you resume it, or if you synthesize it, it's consulting into education. It's work. Sorry, I lost the word. It's work intensive. Work intensive. Intensive was the word I was looking for. Sorry. But it's less risk in terms of investment. If it doesn't work, you lost your time, but how many times are you losing your time? Like when you go somewhere to change your passport, how much time do you spend there? Or if you go, I don't know, how many times you wasted your time? Like everybody can give me a good example. Okay, I lost 2 hours of my life. Like when you are watching a terrible movie and you say, okay, what did I do? But so it's less risky because you're not putting your means, you're not putting your financials, etc., at risk. You're not putting them in the middle of the table. If somebody plays poker here, he knows what I'm talking about. So definitely, I would go during this crisis with this uncertainty for businesses that are work intensive than capital intensive. Obviously, if you're a crazy billionaire and you anyway 1 or 2 millions less, 1 or 2 millions more doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But this is really few people, but you need to be more handy, more picky with the business you are launching, and maybe integrating again some features that were not the case before, that we're not taking into account before. So the mindset never changed, like the mindset of an entrepreneur, the tools that you are using, and we discussed it with Sebastian, like, I don't know, 1,000 times. The tools are the same since 20, 25 or 30 years, And some people sometimes say, oh yeah, but the Porter's 5 forces are not 5, they are 6 now. Yeah, okay, if you want to write a book because you're adding a force, do it. But this is a little bit of bullshit, like those mindsets, those question marks that you need to ask yourself remain the same. And so an entrepreneur who was a good entrepreneur in the early 20s will be a good entrepreneur today, and a bad entrepreneur will be a bad entrepreneur unless he learns things to be a good entrepreneur. This is why being an entrepreneur, it's a set of skills that you put for the purpose of creating your baby, of creating your company. And it's not like, oh, I hate having a boss. I'm really an independent guy, and so I will launch a business. If this is being an entrepreneur, everybody is an entrepreneur, but it's not this. It's really, I have skills. I know some market. I saw a gap in this market. and I'm going to fill this gap because it creates value for the customers? Those are the questions. I mean, it's as easy as answering this question. I mean, saying it is really easy. Doing it, it's another
Doing it is a different
another
matter.
game. It's another game.
What do you think,
So
Sebastian?
also-
Anything else to add?
Yes. Well, just adding something to what Javier said. At the end, everything that every methodology that we try to bring and that we try to use while being an entrepreneur, at the end, ends to one thing: is bringing the value as fast as possible on the market. So it's your time to market, and doing it with the less risk and less cost as possible. And there are a lot of methodologies that help you with that, such as Agile, Lean. If you are in an IT field, the DevOps. This is what helps you with that.
Yeah. I like what Javier said about the skills, right? Like now, because all these things is happening, then suddenly we go like, okay, these are the 5 skills you need to have. These are the 6 skills, or now we've added another 2 more and things. That's very true, actually, right? And that's what's happening with this whole online transition, right? Suddenly you got trainers out there and they're coming up and saying that, oh, this is the way, this way. And some people are afraid to come online because they feel that I don't have this so-called added. But actually, like what Javier said, right? Some of it, if you're good at what you do, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a trainer, you're a teacher, it's just now taking what you already have and enhancing it. So if we're looking at that, right, what would be the 5 core skills you think where we're at right now, right? What are the 5 core skills to be an entrepreneur today? I mean, what would that person look like, right? What are the skills? Not your hair, anything like that, right? What do you need?
That's a question impossible to answer, I think, no? I don't know. If you are opening a bakery, do you need the same skills than someone who is opening a space station?
Yeah, definitely.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you need some. The first thing that you need is motivation, and motivation is not a skill. Motivation is an attitude. So I would more speak about. I would rather speak about attitude and intrinsic motivation and intrinsic beliefs than skills. I mean, do you need IT skills to teach online? Yeah, I don't have them, but I don't have them. Not as Sebastian has them,
But you have Sebastian, so you're covered.
That's it. But actually, this is an interesting question as well. Which skills should you have in-house, and which skills should you have outsourced or decentralized? This is a really critical question in terms of of business strategy. I saw that Ong Tse doesn't like the word business strategy, but it's just a name. It's just the name of the topic and the name of the area. But definitely, for instance, what we had to have in-house was the ability to create courses and programs, the ability to speak several languages, and English is not one of them, as you noticed. The ability to transmit and to transfer knowledge to others, the passion to do it. So I would speak more about passion, motivation, trust, self-confidence. We always say that entrepreneurship is the good idea at the good time, at the good place, and with the right people. And I would stick to those 4 rather than any skill. You can always learn what you don't have. You can always outsource what you don't have, but keep in house what is core to your business. I mean, what is in your core business. If you're launching a bakery, being able to make a bread could be a good idea. Being a crazy good accountant, maybe not. You can outsource that and stick to what brings value to the customers. In the case of the bakery, which is creating an amazing bread.
Okay, very interesting.
Should we this question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it always play to win put players in the fragile position as compared to more careful strategies players? I think what she's trying to ask is it better to focus on play to win players as a team, or careful strategy players into your team? I think that's what you mean, right?
No, I think remember we talked earlier about play to win or play to survive. I think she's looking back at that, right? I believe so. Ong, please correct us if we're not. So we're talking about play to win. I think she says when you play to win, you put them in a fragile position as compared to people who are already strategizing and things like that. But I think that's quite subjective. Maybe Javier or Sebastian can comment on that.
Well, I have when we say play to win, it's not play to win to make other lose.
Yeah.
The objective is to have everybody winning at the end of the day. When some people see somebody in the same market as them, it has two choices. You can either see him as a competitor or as a partner. And I think it's much more powerful to see others as potential partner than potential competitors. Winning at the end is just growing, and it's by going together you can achieve much more than going alone.
Yeah, fully agree with Sebastian, and maybe this is one of the learnings of this crisis as well. People are more talking about collaboration than competition. By the way, guys, we are competition. We are teachers. We teach the same. I mean, not the same, but we know we are competition. Do we feel like it? I don't think so. At least on our side, it's not the case. And it's more of creating value together, and always having a win-win relationship. Some people don't have this mindset, and it's like if the others win, I lose, and some people are like really, unhappy when you have success and will criticize you all the time, and if you are doing the things well or you are trying to do them well. I mean, we all have example of that kind of people. Also in education, I always believe that education was the place where the best people were going with the best mindset and the best ethics and the best moral. And I'm pretty sure everybody cross path with people who are not like that, like everywhere. I mean, at the end of the day, education is also a projection of the society itself. So yeah, I don't think, first of all, there is no fear of competition, especially when you're launching your firm. Normally you are into a niche, or you are into something that is needed. This is why you launch your company. I hope so. And we believe more into partnerships than competition. And actually it creates value for both sides. It's not only because you are selfish and you think about yourself, but for the other side as well.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to move on to the last question. Okay, what are your advices for the current startups or entrepreneurs who are maybe thinking about starting now to do their businesses? What are your advices to them? Perhaps what are your predictions about the future post-pandemic entrepreneurs? Then what will you envision them to be? What kind
Especially those who are just starting off, right? They still want to build new companies during this COVID. I mean, what would you advise them right now? Because we have a lot of young people coming out, graduating from universities, and this whole entrepreneurship before COVID happened, right, was really taking up. Government was giving a lot of grants, and I think we still have a lot of government grants on that. What is your advice to them during this COVID-19 period? Because not many people are hiring as well, right? So
I think it will be Sebastian. I think Javier is a bit.
Yes.
No, I'm here. I'm just on low battery, and that's why I'm saving to say goodbye with a big smile.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So definitely always adapt. There is a crisis is a situation where everything changes very fast, and always reevaluate the situation. It's not what was true yesterday is not true today and will not be true tomorrow. Reduce the sprint, reduce the time to market as much as you can, because during a crisis, it's already true during normal time, but it's even true during this kind of crisis. The time that you go to the market, things may have changed. So as fast as you go, the least possible has changed. So this is very important. I have a lot of advices for entrepreneurs, but during a crisis like the COVID-19 crisis, this is definitely my advice.
To reduce in terms of marketing?
Sorry?
To reduce on?
On time to market.
time to
Yes, and always adapt, always think, always rethink the situation, always reevaluate it. Definitely.
Yeah, I would say the best advice is to get trained. Get trained about what you don't know in terms of entrepreneurship. Speak with others. Others are always a good example and a good source of motivation. I like to learn. I mean, to listen and to watch like some interviews of entrepreneurs, and I mean, not only because when we speak about entrepreneurs, looks like the only entrepreneurs in the world were Steve Jobs, and then the guy from Bill Gates, and then Mark Zuckerberg. And those guys were entrepreneurs, and the others. When we speak about entrepreneurship here, I don't know how wealthy are the people in the audience. I hope a lot, but we are speaking about small, mid-size, or even really small ventures. Like, so obviously get trained and get advice from others who walked away. I mean, why when you go to the cinema theater to watch a movie, you ask other people, was it good? And when you start a business, you ask no one. Like, obviously, I think it's a good point to ask the others. Oh yeah, you had this issue. What did you do at that time, etc. And when we have talks and when we speak with other teachers during this time, we ask them and they ask us, okay, what do you do for online classes? What do you apply? Which technology? And this is really, really interesting. And when we give the talks, it's the best moment of the talks, actually. It's when people share other knowledge and we ask feedback, and this is how we improve as well. So, and I'm a really arrogant Spanish guy, so I do believe that I know everything. But sometimes you just didn't think about it, and sometimes really easy things or really intuitive things people tell you, and you're like, oh yeah, how I didn't think about that. So 1,000 heads think better than only one, or two or four. So and now with technology, you can get feedback from all over the world. We can have the feel of how is education in Malaysia, because now we have two great friends in Malaysia. So no, frankly speaking, I mean, two great virtual friends. Maybe you are robots, guys, and we don't know, but definitely the use of feedback, the use of the community, it's something great. I never met an entrepreneur who don't like to speak or to present his venture. Actually, we met one, and then we understood why. But we met one guy who said, "No, I don't want to speak about my business." Yeah, okay, go and die, man. Like it's your problem. If you don't want to speak about your business, different possibilities. It is unethical, illegal. It's almost in bankruptcy, or you didn't do anything, and that's why you don't want to speak about it.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Put your ideas on the table and let people comment. And if people want to copy you, you can just quote Coco Chanel. Everybody knows Chanel, so it was the founder, and she said, "You can take my ideas. I will have other ones." And this is really my motto in life. I think it's my best quality is to have ideas, and then I have something great, like someone great like Sebastien to realize them, and we do them together. So people can take your ideas. It's completely fine.
Yeah. I think the last question they asked is what are their predictions, which is something that I also add on just now. So what do you think post-COVID? What's going to happen? What do you think in terms of business-wise basis?
Especially for entrepreneurs, right?
Do you think it's going back to normal, like going back to physical businesses, or is there going to be a new change in terms of the aspects of business-wise basis?
Okay, I can go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I think we already a little bit mentioned that, and it will be a change in the attitude and how people are managing a lot of things, are managing the business, and also other features that people will take into account when they are launching a business. So I think this will be the major change. I hope it will be the major change, because once again, we should always keep the lessons learned somewhere and to use them for the next situation. So I do believe it will be like this, but this crisis will not last forever. I mean, one day we will be able to go back to the restaurants to trek Kuala Lumpur for party and that kind of stuff.
We'll take you
But,
for party. Oh, that's Sebastian. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to go as well. But so yeah, I think it's gonna be this. Like people will change how they put things in perspective. They will integrate the possibility of a pandemic in their business models, and definitely you need to be like really picky to start a business right now. But because of what we are seeing in the companies, people are like firing a lot of people, and it will be really a major crisis as well. I think not relying on someone else for your job could be a good position actually.
Sebastian, anything to add?
Well, saying that everything will go to normal after COVID-19, yes and no. There will just be a new normal.
Yeah.
And that's something that we don't need a crisis to have new normality that's just coming in. The last talk we had about the data was totally talking about that. Yes, for example, the real one will know what we are talking about. So, no, but the question is, if you think about yourself back in 2005, imagine yourself, just close your eyes and think about it. You have a phone in your pocket. It's a smartphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in 2005, you probably didn't have any because it was not invented yet. So we will have a new normality, and we won't even realize that there is a new reality. And that's where entrepreneurs has to be very careful, because new normality means new businesses, new opportunities, and things will definitely be different. We probably won't shake hands the same way. We probably will pay a bit more attention to hygiene. We will probably have some new way of working, more home working, as we said previously. This is all of that will be the new normality, and we have to adapt to that, and we have to take the new businesses that will come, the new business opportunities that will come out this new normality. So yes.
And it won't be a new normal because it will be a normal. We won't even think of it, like you said, right?
Yeah.
We won't even think of it as a new normal. It'll just be one of those things. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. At least that's my belief. Maybe I will be wrong, but
We have to bring the report card and check with you in another year or so. We'll come back and we'll check with you and see whether that's what's happening.
With great pleasure. But this video will be a time capsule.
Yes.
This will last for years. So I guess
that's the thing with technology, right?
Yes. So we'll see if our prediction were right or not.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so we're coming towards the end of the show, but we have one more question. Would you all be okay with taking the last question, Sebastian and Javier, by Cheryl?
Okay.
Cheryl, it's a little bit above. Yes. So there are many competitors since online is dealing with global consumers. According to your experience, which department of the company shall increase their skills to catch up to the online trend?
All of them.
HR is different.
Yeah, HR has to start first, right? Because you don't have the right talent, you're going to be in trouble.
But since a lot, I mean, I'm waiting for the moment that someone will introduce me to a good HR.
I have to agree with you on so many levels, right? We were just talking about this some time back. I can't remember with who. I said HR has to change. They're going to call themselves human resources. I don't see the human part on most accounts. So
I think it's one of our series talk that we invited, I think, 2 HR managers to actually come in to give a talk. That was the time when we talked about that.
Yeah, the human side. When COVID first started, right? When it came to communication, right? There was none, or there's such limited communication. The moment you went digital, it's like the human. They said you should do social distancing, physical distancing. It became social distancing completely on so many levels. So yeah. So I hope we answered our guests answered your questions. If you have any other questions, do leave it in the comment section. We will try to get the answers for you and leave it in the maybe update it in the the section of the YouTube channel. Yeah, so we will have to end the session right now because the time in Belgium is completely different, and they have to get back to their work as academics. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us today, and we do run other sessions as well on this channel, and we usually do it bi-weekly, and also almost graduate show which focuses on graduates and how you can increase in terms of professional development. So do join us on this channel as well as the Kiva Vita account, which you see me commenting on. Yeah. So last words from Sebastian or Javi. Javi has come back to show his face and his smile.
It's just saving enough
Yeah.
battery to say bye.
For the pleasure of everyone, I'm showing my face at the end. Yeah. No, just I mean, it's time to thank you, both of you, and also the attendees. I mean, the time really flies. I didn't get the impression to spend 1 hour and 30 or a little bit more. It was really fast, and I think we could still talking a lot about this topic, and I'm pretty sure we will do other sessions. Also, yeah, just to tell the people in the audience or the persons in the audience to follow us if they like the topic. If they have more questions, we will be happy to take time and to answer further questions, or to discuss, or to give advice at some point of the time. We do not pretend to be experts in everything, definitely. But yeah, would be good to keep in touch, to keep in to exchange a little bit more. I think this is one of the objectives of those talks as well. And I hope you will be sharing with us the contacts, like name, last name, and also email addresses. Like this, we can send them a certification from Tonic Teaching for this talk, and they will be able to share it on social medias, etc. So lots of people are sharing it all over the world now, or will be doing it since we are launching those certifications. So it's also a nice way to create a community. And as we said, partnership is important. But to get to know people, you need to have what I call a hook. So it's something to grab their attention, and a common certification could be one of them.
Do you have like a link for us to drop it inside the comment box so they can actually drop it inside there for you to provide them the certification?
I think we just
This question is too technical.
just ask them to share it with my email address. Share it to my email address, and then we'll just compile it and send it to them later on.
Okay.
So for
It
those
will
of
be
you
the
who are
best.
interested,
It's
you
what
can
we do
just
usually.
leave a comment on the channel, because you will notice after the live session ends, you cannot comment anymore. So comment on the channel. You will see, I will also put my email address there, the Inti email address. So just email me and I'll compile the list. But please do it soon so we can compile it and pass it to Professor Javi and Professor Sebastian. Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yep.
Thanks to you.
We are so happy to have you guys, and thanks for spending so much of time with us. Thanks to the audience for engaging.
Thank you
It was so
for
lovely to see all the questions.
Yeah, all the engagement that we have with the audiences. Thank you so much. We shall see
And do
you
follow
all.
our
Bye.
channel. Bye, guys.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye. Take care.
You.